Joe Biden is back in the news, and not because he was demonstrating a new neck-rubbing technique on an unsuspecting 10-year-old girl, but because he is leading in the polls. According to one of the people at the event, in a somewhat odd moment at tonight's AFT town hall, Biden tells a 10-year-old girl, "I bet you're as bright as you are good-looking." He takes her over to the assembled reporters, then stands behind her and puts his hands on her shoulders while he's talking. Wow, what a charming individual. He just can't help himself. According to The Hill, former Vice President Joe Biden is in first place in the polls with a 20-point lead over second place, which is Bernie Sanders. 36% of Democratic respondents said that Biden is most likely to get their vote to become the party's 2020 presidential nominee, according to the Harvard CAPS Harris poll survey. He is followed by Kamala Harris, who is in third place with 8%. She is then followed by Senator Elizabeth Warren and Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who are tied at 5% each. Beto O'Rourke polled at 5th place with 4% of the vote, according to the survey. Strange how Beto's fanfiction has not yet made the rounds on the news either. Sure, there are a lot of people who like Bernie. They think he's a decent and honest man, and he definitely needs more money. You should probably send it to him, by the way. But Joe Biden is bringing about a more hands-on approach to politics. Biden's campaign is one that is a little touchy, but his presence is tangible in more ways than just the way that he stands behind underage girls. As Tucker reminds us, Biden is just an old-fashioned guy. The fact that anyone would criticize him is just emblematic of the current year clown world we live in, thanks to the left.
And so we're sorry for helping to blur the distinction between human affection and coercive immoral behavior. The last thing this country needs is more aggrieved people who think they've been assaulted because a senior citizen hugged them wrong. And so we apologize for adding to that nonsense and anti-human hysteria. And so we're sorry for helping to blur the distinction between human affection and coercive immoral behavior. The last thing this country needs is more aggrieved people who think they've been assaulted because a senior citizen hugged them wrong. And so we apologize for adding to that nonsense and anti-human hysteria.
Well, guys, you heard it from Tucker himself. This is all just the left. This is hysteria. This is anti-human hysteria. This is just a senior citizen hugging a child that isn't his, and perhaps a child he should stay away from. He even said he was going to stop doing that, but he kept doing it. Here's that picture again of him earlier this week creeping up on some 10-year-old girl. But Tucker, remind us again how this is just anti-human hysteria. Would you want to hang out with Joe Biden? Would you want to let Joe Biden hang out with your kids? I doubt it. So you might be asking yourselves, where's CNN on this issue? What are they covering right now?
I'm never nervous when it comes to performing. My favourite part is the dancing and the lip syncing, but mostly the transformation really. I feel really confident to work with different people with disability and that wants to be drag.
Oh, okay. CNN folks. I guess you guys just keep doing what you're doing. By the way, even CNN is saying that Joe Biden is polling in the lead in their own polls, so this seems consistent with what we've seen from other outlets. Biden seems to be the champion of the Democrats, that is, unless a certain brave and stunning woman rises from the ashes. You laugh, but it's likely to happen as the other options are running dry. Biden is even spoken about respectfully on Fox News. There is not one person on the air over at Fox that will even mention how much of a creep Joe Biden is, let alone bring up the age of the people that he is creepy towards. Strange, it's never young boys. Not that it would be fine if it was, but it demonstrates a clear pattern. It demonstrates a pattern that is worth taking note of, since this sort of thing has been hinted at for years. We have reached the point to where those in charge don't have to hide what they do anymore. After all of that footage of him creeping went viral, he came out with a hollow apology, one that was an obvious line of BS. Joe Biden leading in the polls, I have to reiterate that. Despite footage of the guy acting in a way that eclipses anybody involved in the Me Too movement, he remains unscathed. The hustle is quite honestly impressive. Eric Swalwell, on the other hand, has not been performing all that well in the polls. It seems like he might just be spending his valuable time arguing with people who are laughing at him in his comments section on his YouTube channel. Of course, under a throwaway account. Let's take a look. Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the comment section of Eric Swalwell's, or one of his most recent videos rather. Let's take a look, and I think I'm onto something. You guys know Eric Swalwell. He's the presidential candidate, some people call him the nuclear option. Eric swallows well. He's not even in the top 5. He's being beat in the polls by Beto O'Rourke, psychedelic warlord, that cool dude on the skateboard. And anyway, let's go down here. So, as you can see, there is a fellow named Brian B., a channel mysteriously recently created with no content. And just, you can see in just about every thread on this video, which, by the way, has less than 1,000 views. Also, I wanted to point out, Eric Swalwell has a verification badge. To my knowledge, and I could be wrong, I thought it was a milestone for having a certain amount of subscribers. I believe it's 100,000. He has 194. The account was created on December 31st, 2013, though, so the account has been around for quite a while. Well, his official account, anyway. But I have a feeling that this Brian B. fellow is our boy, Eric Swalwell. You know, confronting those troublesome trolls. Confronting those mean people on the internet. All those people calling him a commie and a gun grabber and just a moron. He's got to talk to all of them. What is it Mark Twain said? Don't argue with idiots. People looking on won't be able to tell the difference. So if you go to his most recent video with 13 views, 15 now. Oh, our boy's killing it. Comments are disabled. Why could that be? I can't imagine why you would disable all the comments like that after arguing with the trolls in one of your more recent videos. Man, Eric Swalwell, you are really pathetic. You really are pathetic. The type of guy, I believe you're probably one of the ones calling for impeachment right about now, but you can't really quite tell us what the specific allegation against Trump is. And hey, if you've got something that seems to indicate that he might have a loyalty to a foreign power, then I think maybe you should let us hear it. Let us see it. Do you have any actual evidence, Eric Swalwell? Or are you using this hysteria, this orange man bad culture, to propel yourself into political obscurity? That's really what it looks like. Like, this is an attempt by you to become relevant, but in the end, you're not even polling good enough to beat Beto O'Rourke. But in the end, you're just going to be forgotten about. He might make some money on the campaign trail, but it's not going to turn out well for him. You're not going to win, buddy. I'm sorry to say. You know who's going to win? You know who's going to win? Joe Biden. That's right. Joe Biden is going to win. The guy, the aggressive cuddler, he's going to win. Let that sink in, Eric Swalwell. Also, the state of California is in a massive state of crisis. We could put it that way. There's a typhus epidemic. There's a homeless epidemic. You have multiple fires making thousands of families homeless. You've got your bigger cities covered in shit, needles, homeless people. The state is in a terrible condition even in the more rural areas. And you think that you've done a good job? You think that you've done even a good enough job to try to get a promotion, essentially? Fuck you, buddy. You've still got work to do here. You shouldn't even think about becoming president while your state looks like this. Our state looks like this. Our people are living in parking lots and out in field places because there aren't any houses for them. And the houses that are available, guess what? Go to low income housing. People who don't have jobs or have like a part-time job. It's really frustrating to see somebody like Eric Swalwell who can, I don't know, go to work tomorrow and make things better for Californians. Instead, he's wasting his time chasing some dragon, some pipe dream of becoming the president. Look here, you pathetic piece of crap. This state is the way it is because of you, and you've made things actively worse, and you have a lot of gall to walk up
to people like me or anybody else and try to convince us that you could do any better. Because we've seen what you can produce. We've seen what you're capable of. And the only thing you're capable of is making things look like a nuclear wasteland. Because that's what California looks like. California looks like Fallout. California is a big pile of shit because of Eric Swalwell, and if you vote for Eric Swalwell, the rest of America can look just as fucked up as San Francisco.